Welcome to the Legacy All-Stars podcast. We feature inspirational stories from people who dedicate themselves to helping others. Here is your host, Alan Pavlosky.
All right, welcome to another inspiring episode of the Legacy All-Stars podcast, where we celebrate those who are making a lasting impact through their work and their generosity. I'm your host, Alan Pavlosky. Today we have a terrific guest, Tom Dunkel, Managing Principal of Eagle Capital Investments. Tom is not only a seasoned investor and a financial expert, but he is also deeply committed to giving back, particularly through his support of the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. Still, I'm detecting an afterglow of the Eagles' victory from the Super Bowl 2 months later. So I think Tom enjoyed that.
Absolutely.
In this episode, we will discuss financial legacy building and how strategic investment can create a long-term, lasting impact for families and communities. So let's dive in. Tom, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, it's great to be with you, my friend. I look forward to our time together today.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. It's good to spend some time with you a few weeks ago, too. So that was great.
Absolutely.
Your career in investment has been impressive. Can you start by sharing a bit of your journey into finance and what led you to focus on legacy building through Eagle Capital Investments?
Sure, absolutely. Well, not to go back too far, but I was the kid around the neighborhood, mowing lawns and shoveling driveways and things like that. I learned at a young age, Alan, that saving and investing was really important. So thankfully, I grew up in that kind of environment. But when I got into my professional career, and I don't know if you ever had done this, but when you have like a 401k or something, the 401k company has like a calculator on their website where you can go in and you can say, oh, if I put this much in my 401k and it grows at this percentage each year, by this age, I'm going to have so much money saved up for retirement. And I remember punching numbers into that calculator, and it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, you're kidding. I'm going to be working, 30, 40 years, and that's all I'm going to get on the back end of this. So I kind of, between that and just my upbringing and everything, I knew that there had to be a better way. And, my parents, they didn't really know a whole heck of a lot about finances, because of course their generation was, you get a pension, you stay with the same company, all this stuff. So I took it upon myself to really start learning about investing, because of course the world was changing. 401ks came along, pensions went away. And so it really I felt on my shoulders to really kind of learn things. So, I studied hard in school. I got a degree in finance. I went on to get my MBA in finance and accounting. I went into a high profile career in mergers and acquisitions in the aerospace industry. And so, again, through that process, I was learning a lot of great, cool stuff, but still I just couldn't see a path forward as far as for me to generate the wealth that I wanted to generate so that I could do the things that I wanted to do, just the traditional way and clawing up the corporate ladder and that sort of thing. So when I got booted from my corporate finance job back in 2006,
what a blessing that must have been, right?
Yes, I decided, hey, you know what? This is the kick in the pants that I needed to actually go out and, kind of put my money where my mouth was, as far as, realizing there's another better way to do this. So that's when I jumped into, real estate and learning about other financial strategies. And, I'm sure we'll dig into that a little bit more. But, that's basically been my career the last 19 years, Alan, as I've been, full-time investor, out doing different things in and around the real estate world and learning a lot and having a great time.
Yeah, well, many people think of investing as a way to generate wealth for themselves, but legacy building goes beyond that. And I personally wrote a book about that called Wealth with Purpose, and it outlines strategies for wealth building for the purpose of making an impact on the greater good. What does financial legacy mean to you, and how should people think about it when making an investment decision?
Yeah, that's a great question, Alan. And hey, and congratulations on the book as well. I was at a real estate investor networking event years ago, like when I first started. So this is, call it, 06, 07, 08, somewhere in there. And there was a guy in the front of the room who, honestly, I don't even remember what his area of expertise was or why he was even there talking. I just don't remember that. But what I do remember is he made a statement that just really caught my attention. And obviously, this is all these years later, I still remember it. He got up in front of the group and he said, your job is to go out and make as much money as you can so that you can give it away and then go make more money. And I was like, wow, I had never really thought of things that way. But man, what a way to have a lasting impact, not only on your family and your immediate community, but other cool things. So, that are meaningful to people. So, that really left an impression on me. And so ever since then, I've been, striving to, first and foremost, take care of myself and my family. It's kind of the old, put your air mask on first before you help the people next to you. But now, over the last several years, as I've gotten to a place where, I'm living a really nice lifestyle, and I'm able to, I've put my kids are through school and all those kinds of things. Now I've been able to turn my attention to, starting a scholarship for a friend of mine from business school that passed away, and in her honor, and then getting involved in the Tunnels and Towers organization, which we'll talk more about in a little bit. But for me, Alan, it's just a way of thinking that is more about a bigger purpose than about me, myself, and I, right? Mm-hmm. So, and for me, especially as you get to a certain level, it's like you need that to continue to, stoke the fire in your belly to keep going out and doing great things. So I think it's all a part of your overall financial strategy should be, especially if you have the skills and you develop the skills, you really need to maximize the use of those skills so that you can go and make the money and then, make the donations or join the boards or spend the time so that you can really make an impact.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it great when you hear some messaging that really makes an indelible impression on you, and then years later you can reflect back on that and go, "Wow, that was a turning point for me where I really something clicked." So I definitely believe that is a powerful moment.
Yeah, for sure.
What are some key investment strategies that can help individuals build a sustainable financial legacy? And are there any particular asset classes or approaches that you recommend?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I started out as kind of, building my stock, bond, and mutual fund portfolio, but of course, lived through a lot of volatility there and not really very many tax advantages. And so now I'm focusing more on alternative kinds of asset classes like self-storage and multifamily. Because these kinds of asset classes have a longer term horizon and they are steadier and more recession resistant. And the best thing is they have tax advantages. So that gives us more of a return, especially on a risk adjusted basis. Sorry to throw out a big term there, but basically getting more bang for your buck, right? Because you're in a safer asset class, but you're making money. So it's better than a risky asset class making the same money. But that is a way that I feel is it secures your capital, right? Because it's a hard asset. Mm-hmm. These assets, they generate income, which is a beautiful thing because as an investor, you're able to get dividends and cash flow from your investment. And of course, as everyone knows, real estate over time, it increases in value. So you build up that equity over time. So, having a legacy and building a strong financial balance sheet for you and your family, it's a long-term thing. It's not going to happen overnight. So you have to be disciplined and you build it over time by investing in these kinds of hard assets.
Yeah, I mean, full transparency, Tom and I are in a mastermind group together. We talk about this pretty regularly, and we're both on the same page with regard to how we can pay our fair share of taxes, but not overpay our taxes necessarily. And definitely looking at ways to create passive income where you're not working your whole life beyond that, which you see as your horizon. So I hope everybody takes that to heart. Beyond
Totally.
your work in finance, you are also a passionate supporter of Tunnels to Towers Foundation. Can you tell us how you got involved with that and why is it so important to you?
Sure, yeah. So it goes back quite a ways, Alan. So my family actually came to this new world in the 1600s. So I have direct relatives who fought in the Revolution and the Civil War. Pretty much every war since. And as you can see over my shoulder here, this is a picture of my son. He's now an officer in the U.S. Navy. And so while I didn't serve myself in a uniform, I want to be able to serve now the community of just incredibly brave and dedicated military and first responders who are out there that run into unbelievable and horrific challenges. So, for example, the whole reason the Tunnels to Towers organization came about was because the founder's brother was unfortunately killed in 9/11. He was a New York City firefighter, and he went rushing into that building when everybody else was rushing out. And to have that level of bravery is just incredible. And I feel like it just needs to be recognized and never forgotten and rewarded.
Yeah, for sure. Can you give me a little bit more specifics about what Tunnels to Towers does, and can you share some of the impactful work they're doing and where that expands?
Sure. Yeah. So we're excited to be participating with them because they do a few really, really impactful things. Number one is they provide mortgage-free homes to the families who have lost a military or first responder breadwinner in their family. So they just write a check, and the family gets to live in that house debt free, which is amazing because, of course, when you lose a loved one like that, the income goes away and you're trying to keep the family together. And then, of course, you're grieving and the kids are trying to figure their way forward without that parent. And so having that home, having that steady, safe haven where the kids can grow up and thrive, I think is really important. And to be able to do that in a mortgage-free way is amazing. The other thing they do is for service members and first responders who have had some kind of catastrophic injury. Maybe they've lost a limb or an eye or who knows what. The group will go in and they will modify houses so that they match up with the disability of the service member. So, if they need a shower, they can roll their wheelchair into, or lower doors and counters because they're in a wheelchair, or ramps instead of steps if they're on crutches or what have you. So, those kinds of things are really important. And then the other thing they do is now they're really focusing, because the organization has been really growing. They are now focusing on homelessness of veterans, which of course, it's just insane and very sad to me that someone who served our country bravely and loyally is now out of a house somehow or another. So they're looking to make an impact in that area as well.
I mean, it sounds like an amazing organization, and I'd love to hear from you as how other listeners can get involved, whether through donations or volunteering or other forms of support with them.
T2T.org is their website, and so of course you can go there and make a donation. They ask for $11 a month. I don't know where they came up with that number, but I guess it's pretty catchy. So $11 a month, and then of course anyone who's interested could make a lump sum payment as well. What we do here at Eagle Capital Investments is every investor that comes in and partners with us, we make that $11 a month donation in their honor to Tunnels to Towers Foundation. And on top of that, we donate 10% of our annual profits to Tunnels
that's
to
amazing.
Towers as well. So as a corporate partner. So we're super excited about that.
I mean, there you are living the dream, but also living the reality of your vision of being a philanthropic contributor. It's inspiring to hear that. All right. So, Tom, thank you for sharing your insights on financial legacy building and your inspiring work with Tunnels to Towers Foundation. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or advice for listeners who want to make a lasting impact on both their financial and their philanthropic lives?
Sure, Alan. This has been great, buddy. It's appreciate the opportunity to be with you and the listeners. Yeah, I would just say, it's really important for people to go out there, especially high achievers. It's important to go out there and make sure that your financial future is secure, so that you can go out and make an impact in these areas that are important to you. So, what I would encourage people to do is just like Jalen Hurts has a quarterback coach and Tiger Woods has a swing coach. You need to surround yourself with people that you can learn from. So even if you're a high achiever, if you're not looking at investment opportunities and different asset classes all day, every day, you need that guide that can really help you to take those steps and take them confidently. So I remember, back when I was a kid, I grew up caddying. I carried golf bags, and I remember, as a guide, right, to my golfer, I was out there and helping him navigate the golf course. And I remember one woman in particular, I had caddied for her several times, and I was able to help her around the golf course, and I got to know her game a little bit. And, I was reading her putts and giving her the right clubs and giving her the right strategy. And she was able to break 90 for the first time with my help. So I just always enjoyed being that kind of guide because everybody needs a guide if you're out there, even if you're an amazing achiever or a world-class athlete, you need somebody who's not you to give you sort of an outside perspective. And so I think that's important in your investing life as well. And I think one simple step, Alan, that someone can take to, just a first initial step to get started is, I know a lot of people have like an old 401k that is at maybe an old employer and it's just sitting there and, it's not really doing anything. So I would encourage people very simply to transfer your 401k to a self-directed IRA company. There's a lot of them out there. And so that way you can actually use that 401k money to invest in the things that Alan and I have been talking about, like the multifamily, which are apartment complexes, and the self-storage, and private lending is a big favorite of mine. And I feel like private lending is something easy. It's an easy first step that an investor can take just to kind of dip a toe into this new world of what they call alternative investments. So that's what I would throw out there, Alan. Just have a coach that can help you and take that first easy step.
Mentorship is key for everybody, and I personally like to make sure I identify people that I can affect through mentorship. Do you have any particular individuals other than your kids? And I know you've been a great mentor to your kids. Do you have any particular people that you've found an opportunity to mentor and be a part of their lives in a positive way?
Yeah, Alan, I actually have. So I am here in the Philadelphia suburbs. Go Birds. And so I have a young man. I mean, geez, we met probably 10, maybe going on 15 years ago. He's younger than me. He's probably about 10 years younger than me. And for whatever reason, we met at a real estate investor networking event and we got to talking. And ever since then, just on a very informal basis, we've been staying in touch and we do business together. And I've been sort of mentoring him on his business and maybe things he could do differently, or maybe some areas of risk that he hasn't really addressed. And so I'm happy to say that, we've become just really good friends, to be honest. And, this past Thanksgiving, he texted me and he was just expressing his gratitude for having me in his life on Thanksgiving. So, to get a text message like that from someone is really, really cool. Really kind of warms the soul and, just makes me feel good about the impact I'm having. And that's just one example. I've worked with a couple of other people like that. Again, just on a strictly, informal basis. Just we've found each other one way or another and just like to I don't know, impart whatever knowledge I can on them. As I'm getting a little older, Alan. I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little older, and I feel like I need to.
About me.
I feel like I need to. I feel like I need to, get the stuff out of this head that I've learned along the way and get it out to other people, so it doesn't go away when I go away.
It's a recurring theme, though, with guests of this show that I tend to want to feature people that are generous and giving with their time, and then they're really seeking to make a greater impact. And this has been great having you on the show, Tom. It's been an enlightening conversation, and I want you to really bask in the glow of your Eagles, of course, again, but also to really thank you for being such an inspirational person and for being so giving and generous with everything you do to help others. That's important from the perspective of this show. If you want to learn more about financial legacy building, the way Tom does it, be sure to check out Eagle Capital Investments. And if you're inspired to support Tunnels to Towers, which I'm inspired myself listening to what you're saying about that. I mean, who can't get behind first responders and military veterans? I mean, it's sad that we have to say that, but I think it's a ubiquitous approach that everybody can appreciate, the gratitude that we should all feel for that. So if you want to if you're inspired to support that, go to t2t.org, as Tom said, to find out how you can contribute to that incredible mission. If you want to learn more about how I help people learn about passive income and legacy building, visit legacyallstarspodcast.com and follow the instructions to schedule a call with me. Again, thanks for tuning in to Legacy All Stars Podcast. Until next time, keep building your legacy.